They won't see you coming, not because you're hiding, wearing camouflage, or dimming your own light, but because you've chosen a different channel. One so quiet the world's crowded airwaves never notice. Volume is loud, messy, and always hungry for more. You've decided to run on a silent frequency that most people's antennas don't even pick up. In that private bandwidth, power moves clear and fast, like a current beneath choppy surf. Take a deep breath. No. Deeper. Feel. The chest widen, ribs expand, spine rise. Right here, before a single word appears, something happens, your pulse shifts. That shift, tiny as it seems, is the first domino in a run of quiet victories. Because once the heart slows, the mind follows. When mind follows, attention steadies. When attention steadies, the room tilts your way without knowing why. Imagine a crowded elevator. Phones glow at every angle. Shoulders touch, eyes dart upward to avoid strangers' faces. Someone sighs. Doors close. You let your shoulders drop just 1 millimeter. You adjust feet so weight balances. You breathe through your nose, count to 4 in, 4 out. Nothing visible, nothing dramatic. Yet 2 passengers stop fidgeting. One pockets his phone. No speech, no gesture. You simply lowered the noise your body emits, and the elevator's climate recalibrated around that single quiet signal. If calm can shift 8 square feet of cramped steel, think what it can do to a boardroom, a dinner table, an entire company culture. Most people fear silence because they equate quiet with emptiness, like a stage with no play or a TV channel off air. They rush to fill gaps, forgetting that gaps are gateways. In public speaking, the most memorable line is usually not a line at all. It's the pause that frames it. The same principle applies off stage. The pause is where information leaks. Emotions, surface patterns reveal themselves. You learn more in a 5-second silence than in 5 minutes of anxious chatter. Your job is to become comfortable enough to wait out those seconds again and again, until others offer up what you no longer need to hunt. A simple exercise proves the point. Tomorrow, when someone finishes a sentence, resist the urge to answer. Count to 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi inside your skull. Watch what happens. Half the time they keep talking, adding details they never planned to share. If they were bluffing, holes appear. If they were uncertain, clarity appears. All because you let silence vacuum the space between you. Data with 0 effort. Multiply that by every conversation in a week, and you're wielding an intelligence network built purely on patience. Patience, however, is not passive. It's an engine idling at optimal RPM, ready to move when conditions align. Picture a chess grandmaster. On move 10, she already sees move 24. But she does not rush. She lets the opponent reveal preference, bait, impatience. With each reveal, the grandmaster's future path becomes simpler, not harder. She seems almost lazy, hand on chin, eyes half closed, while the other side sweats over possibilities she mapped 20 minutes ago. Quiet is not slow, it's deliberate. Now, shift from a game board to real life. You're in a meeting where 2 managers argue feature priorities. Voices rise. You, junior analyst, sit back, pen still. Your eyes move from one speaker to the other, but you say nothing. After 3 volleys, you've identified both motives. One fears missing deadline penalties, the other wants portfolio shine for promotion season. They frame it as customer value, yet subtext screams self-protection. Because you didn't jump in, you saw beneath the words. Later, you propose a timeline split. Core release meets deadline. Optional expansion feeds promotion metrics. Both. Managers nod, amazed you found a compromise. You didn't compromise. You simply waited long enough to understand what they actually wanted. Silence granted X-ray vision. To wield such silence reliably, train 3 foundational habits. Habit 1, breath discipline. Every emotional state rides a breath pattern. Short, fast in anxiety, long, deep in calm. Flip the pattern. you flip the state. Choose any trigger, notification buzz, door opening, kettle whistle, as cue to inhale 4, hold 2, exhale 6. 3 cycles rewire the moment. Done 50 times a day, it becomes baseline. Your resting calm will read as confidence even before you speak. Habit 2. Micro stillness. Twice each hour, pause hand movement for 10 seconds. Mouse stays, pen rests, shoulders fall. Notice 2 things in the environment you hadn't seen: the angle of light across keyboard, the faint vibration of HVAC key. This anchors you in sensory reality when others spin in mental noise. During discussions, the same stillness acts like a beacon. Others instinctively mirror the lowered tension. Habit 3. Sparse words. Use the tweet rule. Aim to express thoughts within 140 characters verbally, not literal counting, spirit of brevity. Start with routine phrases swap. I was just wondering if maybe we could try for let's try. Trimming speech forces clarity upstream. You think sharper because you intend to speak sharper. Combine these habits and you'll discover a side effect. Time seems to stretch. Meetings that flew by unfinished now leave minutes to spare. Why? Because silence speeds perception. Less talking, faster pattern recognition, quicker targeted responses. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast, cycles back with compound interest. Let's ground this in a day in the life scenario. It's 8:15 a.m. You walk into the office kitchen. Co-workers debate weekend plans. Instead of joining, you listen while making tea. Someone mentions feeling behind on Project X. You file the intel. 9 June, stand-up meeting. Project X owner breezes through update, glossing worries. Because of earlier intel, you ask one pointed question that surfaces real risk. Team, thanks you for foresight, but you never spied. You simply stayed quiet in the kitchen, hearing what chatter revealed. Lunch break, friend vents about manager. Rather than advice bomb, you reflect, sounds like you don't feel trusted. Silence. Friend tears up, admits imposter syndrome. He leaves lunch lighter because you named what noise hid. Again, silence first, words second, impact maximum. Afternoon. An email war erupts over design colors. Instead of replying, you draft a summary doc. Why each color was chosen, user feedback, stats, accessibility notes. Before sending, you wait 30 minutes. Sure enough, the loudest objector cools, sends apology for tone. You reply with summary link, discussion ends. Silence saved reputations. Evening commute. Train delayed. Crowd groans. You open notes app. Jot 2 insights from day. No podcast, no social feed. Delay turns into workshop. By the time train moves, you've shaped tomorrow's presentation outline. Work done in the gap everyone else cursed. This is not sainthood. Frustration still bubbles, ego still whispers. The trick is not letting those voices choose actions. Think of emotions as splash screens on a phone. Temporary, covering interface for a moment. Most people tap wildly to get past the splash, opening wrong apps. You wait half a beat, screen clears. You proceed. A common worry. If I stay quiet, I'll miss my chance. Opportunities do favor action, but they punish reckless action more. Silence should never mean paralysis. It means micro-pause to align arrow before releasing. Imagine 2 archers. One looses arrows endlessly, hoping volume finds target. The other draws, breathes, lets heartbeat slow, fires once. Bullseye. Which looks more commanding? Controlled release, wins long-term, arrow count be damned. Quiet will sometimes unsettle people. When they can't read you, they project fears. They may label you aloof, arrogant, unprepared. That's noise too. A simple way to ease tension without spilling strategy. Use warm body language alongside verbal brevity. Maintain soft eye contact, nod, smile lightly. Show you're present, just selective with speech. Warmth paired with quiet becomes magnet, not wall. Notice how entertainers handle crowds. A comedian pacing stage knows to let laughter crest before. Next punchline. Speak too early and you stomp on laughs. Too late and energy dips. Your daily interactions are mini stages. Let reactions crest. Let colleagues process. Then drop the next line. Deep practice. Schedule a silent morning once a month. From waking until noon, speak only if safety requires. No music, no podcasts. Do normal tasks. Cook, exercise, shop. You'll notice 3 phases. First, mind races filling gap. Second, mind quiets, senses sharpen. Third, insights surface, often emotional truths buried under speech. By lunchtime, you feel as if days have passed. That expansion is attention reclaiming territory. In couples therapy, a tool called the mirroring dialogue instructs one partner to reflect the other's words before responding. It slows conversation, prevents misfire. You can self-mirror silently. While someone talks, mentally rephrase their sentence. This occupies reactive brain parts, leaving calm parts free to analyze. When it's your turn, your answer already distilled. A hidden payoff emerges. Unreactive people age slower biologically. Stress spikes cortisol. Chronic cortisol frays telomeres. Breath-anchored silence curbs cortisol surges. Thus, quiet strategy isn't just career armor. It's a longevity play. Yet beware counterfeit stillness, appearing calm while stewing inside. That's pressure cooker mode, eventually exploding. True silent power requires inner ventilation. Write morning pages, sweat through exercise, talk vulnerably with a trusted friend, then return to outer world empty of static, able to hold quiet because nothing inside screams. Let's return to Lena, the engineer. After her cachet rollback victory, she didn't boast. Weeks later, another incident arose. New team members panicked, expecting Lena to magic wand again. Instead, she gathered them, drew 3 boxes on whiteboard. Noise, patterns, core. She let each junior voice noise first. Only then they looked for patterns together. Finally, core issue became obvious to all, solved by group. Lena's silence had evolved into teaching tool. Guide others to stillness, not dependency on her. True power scales, morning breaks. You rise before the alarm, not because you're heroic, but because your brain, no longer numbed by late night. Noise clears the fog fast. Coffee steams. The day's first test arrives before caffeine cools. Your phone lights up with a message, urgent, call me ASAP. Old reflex would punch the call button. New reflex lets it ring in the mental background. While you finish the sip, you read the message again. No details, only urgency. You breathe through the nose once, twice, 3 times. Heart steady. Now you reply with 7 calm words. I'm free at 9. Send specifics beforehand. You transformed a stranger's crisis into a 9 a.m. calendar block and reclaimed 2 hours of morning clarity. That's silent scheduling judo. You bend urgency without forcing conflict. A secret about urgency. 80% of it evaporates when it meets a firm, steady wall. People confuse immediate availability with competence. Yet the most competent often protect response windows. They know reactionary speed borrows from strategic depth, like sprinting the first mile of a marathon. Train yourself to make a speed versus depth decision each time a request lands. Ask, does acting now change the outcome tomorrow? If no, you batch it. If yes, you act. Calm still intact, because choice replaced reflex. Let's deepen the watch before act skill with a real-world microdrill called the glass door. Whenever you're about to step through any literal doorway, to a meeting, a store, your home, pretend there's an invisible glass pane you must wipe before entering. Pause, place hand in air, move it aside. In that theatrical second, commit. To observation mode, fresh eyes, silent mind, heart rate down. Friends may chuckle, they won't laugh at the results. You capture subtle sights, a co-worker's forced smile, a partner's slumped shoulders, a client's twitchy pen. that most miss. Doors become transition rituals from autopilot to heightened pattern recognition. Silence doesn't mean surrendering personality. It means channeling it with intention. When you do speak, humor lands sharper, warmth feels sincere, authority rings unforced. Think of an amplifier. If constant feedback squeals, the music drowns. Lower the background hiss, and a single guitar chord fills the hall. Your voice is that chord. Use it sparsely, and rooms remember. Story. Malik, mid-30s, ran customer support. He dreaded weekly escalation calls, shouting, blame-shifting half-solutions. Instead of matching volume, he implemented a 30-second mute. Whenever a caller finished venting, Malik pressed mute, counted to 30, while breathing slow enough to hear his own pulse. Angry clients, hearing silence, often filled it with new information. Actually, we rebooted once and it worked for a minute. That hint shortened troubleshooting. Complaints dropped 40% in a quarter. Malik earned a reputation for psychic problem-solving. All he'd done was place silence between storm and response. You'll encounter people who test your quiet by prodding, joking, or accusing passivity. Respond with the mirror and lantern. The mirror. Reflect their statement neutrally. You're worried I'm ignoring the issue. The lantern. Shine light on your process. I'm gathering details to suggest a fix. 2 sentences, delivered in steady tone, diffuse pressure while maintaining your pace. They see you're active beneath the surface. Your stillness feels purposeful, not dismissive. Silence also excels in negotiations where anchors decide thousands. Imagine selling a car. Buyer opens, I can only do 12. Instead of countering, I need 15, nod once, look at paperwork, breathe. The buyer, uncomfortable may add, could maybe stretch to 13.2 if service records are included. You just gained $1,200 by holding still. Remember, humans often negotiate against their own nerves before they negotiate against you. But what about group brainstorming, where silence seems opposite of creativity? Paradox. Many teams equate creativity with rapid-fire talk, yet brainstorming research shows the best ideas appear during solitary reflection, then refine in calm share-outs. Try the silent start protocol. Everyone spends the first 10 minutes jotting ideas alone. No talking, timer beeps, ideas circulate on sticky notes, group clusters themes quietly for 5 more minutes. Only then discussion begins. Volume stays low, insights run deep. Companies adopting silent starts report higher novelty scores and equal participation because introverts contribute before extroverts fill airtime. Let's examine internal silence, the emotional neutral zone. Picture a snow globe. Shake it and flakes swirl. Set it down, the snow settles, revealing the scene. Your mind after conflict is that globe. If you speak while flakes spin, vision is clouded by ego, fear, defensiveness. Wait, a minute, an hour, sometimes a day, and clarity returns. Advanced practitioners accelerate settling through physiological cues, diaphragmatic breathing, cold water on wrists, 5-minute brisk walks. These hacks signal the vagus nerve, flipping the body from fight or flight to rest and digest. Decision quality soars. Emotional neutrality doesn't dull passion, it directs it. A martial artist channels anger into precise strikes by controlling breath and stance. Similarly, a negotiator channels excitement into thoughtful questions instead of premature agreement. Feel everything, express selectively, homework drill, and each work day with ruthless recap. Write 3 bullet points. What noise distracted me, where silence served me, how I'll extend the gap tomorrow. Keep log for 3 weeks. Patterns of weakness and strength emerge. Self-measurement turns abstract calm into trackable metric. Let's address the elephant, fear of missing out. Smartphones feed FOMO like IV drips. Silent power starves it. Start by muting all group chats during focus blocks. Set a FOMO window at 4 p.m. You'll scan messages then, not before. At first, anxiety spikes. Notice it. Breathe through. When 4 p.m. arrives, catch up in minutes, realizing nothing burned. Confidence in controlled delay grows, bleeding into other domains. News, social validation, gossip. You exit the hamster wheel. Relationships. Thrive under strategic quiet. A couple fighting cycles of attack-defend can try structured silence. One partner speaks for 2 minutes, while other listens without interjection, then 60 seconds of shared quiet before roles swap. That minute feels awkward early on, but soon becomes fertile ground where accusations melt and new empathy rises. Quiet also unveils hidden allies. In bustling companies, soft-spoken staff often hold niche knowledge. While blowhards battle in meetings, you, who value low volume, notice a quiet analyst shaking her head slightly at the slide deck. After meeting, you ask her view. She reveals dataset errors that could save millions. You elevate her voice, loyalty forms, a silent coalition builds, grounded in mutual respect for stillness. Remember, unreadable is untouchable only if ethical. If you hoard silence to deceive, trust dissolves eventually. Integrity glues power to longevity. Use stillness to serve clarity, not to mask manipulation. Even online, silence scales. Social platforms reward outrage, but algorithmic tweaks now boost dwell time. How long users pause on a post before touching anything. Write concise, thought-provoking lines that make readers stop, think, reread. Your quiet space inside their scroll triggers higher ranking. Stillness hacking algorithms, poetic justice. Our society equates immediate opinion with intelligence. Subvert by responding to hot takes with, "Interesting point, I'll think on it." You buy time, honor the speaker, and often find their stance shifts before your considered answer returns. You avoided useless battle. Let's talk body stillness in high stakes. A surgeon friend described 0 moves. Before first incision, she pauses scalpel mid-air 1 second. That deliberate freeze cues her team to full alert, resets group breathing, aligns focus. You can replicate before pitching investors. Stand calmly, look around the table, meet each gaze for half second, then begin. Audience syncs unconscious rhythm to yours. You lead before first word. Energy conservation matters. Constant talking drains glucose, spikes cortisol, shortens attention span. Silent operators finish the day with mental surplus. They invest that surplus in strategic thinking, skill learning, physical health. Over years, surplus compounds into careers that seem blessed by luck. Luck favors those who didn't squander resources on noise. Night arrives. You enter a social event. Music loud, small talk rampant. Instead of hiding, you practice the quiet pivot. Approach a cluster, wait politely, catch eye contact, offer one high-value question rather than a story about yourself. Example, what challenge in your field keeps you curious lately? Ask, then listen. People talk energized. You learn. They label you great conversationalist, despite sharing little of your own resume. The pivot works because curiosity beats exhibition. Silence also strengthens refusal. Imagine friend pressures for a weekend trip you can't afford. Instead of excuses, respond with 6 words. I'm passing, but thanks for asking. Then stay silent. Most pushback dies against that concise wall. Over-explaining invites debate. Still refusal ends it. Before sleep, you practice 5-minute candle stare. No lights except flame. Thoughts slow. Breathing aligns with flicker. This trains mind to anchor on a single point amid visual motion, useful when office chaos swirls. Next day, a final vignette. Early explorers navigated by dead reckoning, estimating position using speed, time, heading, until able to fix stars. Silent power is your star fix. Without it, you're guessing distance. based on gusts of conversation and tides of emotion. With it, you lift gaze, measure constants, the micro gestures, breath rhythms, energy flow, and chart a course the chatter cannot alter. Pause now. Inhale 4, hold 1, exhale 6. Feel part of you settle deeper than chair. Tomorrow we'll refine advanced techniques, using silence to protect boundaries, steer culture, and make decisions that echo long after voices fade. A week has passed since you began practicing 3-second pauses. Things look different now. Messages that once ignited you feel smaller. Meetings seem slower, easier to map. People have started asking for your take instead of talking over you. This is only the surface. Quiet has deeper rooms, and you are ready to open the next door. First comes the boundary door. Boundaries spoken with too many words sound shaky, almost like apologies. Boundaries spoken with too few words can sound cold and provoke pushback. The sweet spot is a single, clear sentence followed by complete silence. Your co-worker dumps work on you Friday at 4 p.m. You say, "I can't add that to my queue this week." Then you stop. No nervous laugh, no long excuse. Silence stretches. The co-worker stares, recalculates, takes the file away. Boundary kept, respect earned. If they try guilt, "I thought you were a team player," you simply repeat, "I can't. Add that to my queue this week." Same calm tone, then hold the pause again. Most people fold by round 2 because they depend on your reaction to fuel their pressure. Remove reaction, pressure loses steam. Second door, steering group culture. Culture is the average of tolerated behaviors. When gossip starts at lunch, you do not scold, you do not participate. You let one story finish, then ask a single, sincere question that shifts focus. "How's that new project going?" Or, "What's been inspiring you lately?" You wait. The table tilts from tearing down to building up. After 3 lunches like this, co-workers unconsciously self-edit when you sit down. You never outlawed gossip. You starved it by offering a better meal, meaningful attention. Third door, high-stakes decisions. Noise loves speed. Wisdom loves pacing. When the board pressures for an instant yes, you request a 15-minute recess. Go outside if possible. Feel the air. Watch a tree sway. Count 50 breaths. Your brain steps back far enough to see blind spots. You return, frame your answer, often shorter than a tweet, confident because the forest, not the frenzy, guided you. Fourth door, digital presence. Your silence must extend to the online world, or the benefits leak away. Turn off typing, indicator in chat apps. Send fewer messages, but with complete context, so follow-ups shrink. Post once a week instead of daily, but post something distilled. A graph that lights insight, a question that lingers. Absence between posts becomes anticipation. Algorithms notice engagement spikes on your rarer content because followers stop and think instead of skim. Even machines respect silence that forces humans to dwell. Fifth door, crisis calm. Fire alarm blares, building evacuates. People shout directions. Use slow to half speed. Help one person grab coat. Guide them without drama. Emergency staff later. Say your presence kept panic down. Crisis transcripts show you spoke 40% fewer words than average, but moved twice as effectively. In chaos, the quiet spine becomes the informal chain of command. Sixth door, teaching the practice. A junior teammate trembles during presentations. You give them the glass door ritual. Before stepping to podium, they place an imaginary hand on the invisible pain. Breathe, swipe aside, then speak. Their voice steadies. 2 months later, they teach it to someone else. Quiet scales. You will hit resistance inside yourself. Some nights, the urge to blurt, tweet, vent will roar. Create a private noise pad, a notebook or file where you dump every unfiltered rant. Write fast until the charge fades. Close the pad. You haven't betrayed your calm, you just gave noise a sandbox. Schedule quarterly silent checkpoints. Half day off, no screens, long walk, notebook in pocket. Ask 3 questions, answer on paper. Where did I break my silence wisely? Where did noise hijack me? What pattern do I see? The act of handwriting slows thoughts to breathing pace. Insights. Crystallize. Health integrates with quiet. Try 1 workout a week with no music. Hear your breath, shoe strikes, heartbeats. You learn internal pacing, useful when adrenaline wants to sprint early during real confrontations. Socially, notice those who thrive in your calmer orbit. Mentors, creatives, reflective friends. Nurture those links. They reinforce the norm. Likewise, chronic drama magnets may drift away. Let them. Space you free becomes room for opportunities drawn to steadiness. Advisory roles, sensitive negotiations, invitations to think tanks. Quiet opens doors noise never sees. Over time, your identity shifts from person who stays quiet to person others consult before acting. A reputation forms. When she speaks, listen. You will feel pressure to maintain that mystique by speaking even less. But balance is key. Silence is a tool, not a costume. If data demands swift, loud alarm, fire, fraud, harm, you raise your voice without hesitation. People know your silence means deliberation. So when you shout, "Stop!" they stop. Legacy question. What story will colleagues tell when you leave? Not that you dominated debates, but that meetings felt clearer after you'd synthesized the swirl into one calm action line. Not that you cracked jokes non-stop, but that your presence allowed them to breathe easier. Quiet power leaves emotional architecture standing long after the builder moves on. Tonight, stand outside for 1 minute. Listen to distant traffic, wind, maybe a single bird. Remember, those sounds have existed your whole life, yet you only hear them when you stop adding your own. The world's undercurrent of information is just like that. Constant, subtle, rich. Whenever you fall back into compulsive volume, step. Outside again, let the quiet remind you of the deeper channel. Practice never ends. But each silent breath you master is another brick in an unshakable foundation. Bit by bit, the invisible strength grows, and people begin to navigate by the steady signal you emit, often without realizing it. That is when you'll know the apprenticeship is over. Not when you feel powerful, but when rooms feel grounded the moment you walk in, and no one can quite explain why.